So we got a pretty neat little find here. Southern ringneck snake. These guys can be distinguished by the ring around their neck. Of course, in the back, right behind the head, there's actually typically a break in the ring. We actually found this one in some roadside garbage. You can probably hear cars zipping by and see all the garbage around. These are actually a pretty common snake to find in Florida. You can find them just about any time of year, typically under debris, sometimes even out in the open. Another thing that'll distinguish you of a southern ringneck is the belly. I don't know how well you can see the belly on this. It's typically a yellowish and fades to orange, and then the tip of the tail is actually a red. And what they actually do, yeah, these cars are loud. What they actually do is they'll curl this tail up as a defensive mechanism. And often another thing that the ringnecks like to do is they hide their head under it. So they're showing this bright red color to any would-be predators, saying, hey, back off. Even though the snake can't do anything to harm them, typically, it's got a very tiny mouth, can't do a lot of damage. They musk well, so they'll stink pretty bad. Occasionally, you'll even find these with the tips of the tails missing because that's what they lead with, and predators will bite that, and it'll give them enough of a chance to even escape. Well, we're going to go ahead and let this one go back under the debris we found it in, and going to get to doing some herping. Hopefully, we can find some less common snakes than this. But this is a good start. Alright, I know we've found these before, but they're awesome little snakes. Little pygmy rattlesnake sitting here on this log. I don't know how well he's showing up because he's probably contrasting pretty well against this charred log. We're actually in an area that was recently burned and actually have some decent luck. A lot of areas in Florida can get really overgrown, but if you go into burn areas where there's a lot less undergrowth, vegetation and stuff, if you look around, sometimes you can spot snakes pretty easily if you find anywhere where there might be shelter, fallen logs, holes in the base of old rotted stumps, and check those spots out. Sometimes you'll get lucky and find snakes in them. So I know we find a lot of these, so we're not going to spend too much time talking about it or anything. We've already kind of gone over a lot of information about these, but they're still really awesome, and I think we're going to go ahead and move on and see what else we can find today.
Well, springtime in Florida has not let us down. Right now we're out here checking some edge habitat. There was a recent burn in this area. We already found the small pygmy rattlesnake. We've seen a couple black racers today, and this morning I got really lucky, and very atypical springtime, I saw some wild turkeys. So I'm having a really great time out here so far. I got tonight and tomorrow down here in Florida. I'm only down here for a weekend, so I'm trying to squeeze in as much herping as I can. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to move on, and hopefully we're going to try and get some snakes on the road tonight if we get lucky. It's really cold at night, so nighttime cruising is kind of out of the question. But evenings can be really good this time of year.
For my next trick,
I'll find nothing. Snake.
another Scarlet.
You got it?
Shit.
Do you need help?
Yeah, he's not in a good
Uh-oh. Hold on. I'm not recording. I'm gonna have to grab the whole rock and just lift it straight up.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Let me know.
I'm letting this snake go.
You got it?
No, lift it straight up. Thank you. Good job. Other snakes. Alright, another Scarlet.
Oh, nice. Heavy rock.
Awesome.
Well done. Nice find.
Pictures of this one.
Well done, Chris.
Beauty, 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 beauty. Love it, love it, love it.
Another Florida Scarlet.
Another tricolor. Mm.
Yeah.
Love these snakes.
Sometimes flipping at night can really pay off, and you know, our first flip site, we found this Florida Scarlet snake there, mostly an egg eater. We've seen them before, but it is always a real treat to see such a beautiful animal like this. We're gonna, as usual, go ahead and put this animal right back under the rock where we found it, but what a real treat after a hard-working day and kind of striking out. This is definitely a win.
Big brown water.
Just grabbed him right out of the water.
It's just covered in musky
He swam up.
and-
He's pretty.
Jeez. That is a big brown
It's
water.
been a long
man.
time since I dove after a snake.
Wow. Oh, it stinks too. We need to invent smell-o-vision
eyes.
for
Wow.
YouTube.
Right.
Look at those teeth marks. Nice.
That's pretty. That'll feel good later. He's cool.
That's why we have rubbing alcohol
Brown water
pads.
snake. Yes.
For stuff like that, you gotta be ready. Wow.
Oh, cool.
That's a big one. Jeez.
We're down here herping along a dam, along some rocks that a lot of these water snakes absolutely love. Chris did a lot of the footwork, and he actually knew these snakes are here with relative frequency, so
He brought me here just to share this spot with me, and ooh, having a lot of fun. This brown water actually kind of swam up to the shore while Chris was just looking in the water, and I kind of lunged forward and grabbed it, and it bit me on the hand, and then I handed it off to Chris and it bit him a couple of times. But yeah, these guys just, like Chris was saying earlier, they swim around here, they're hunting frogs, they're picking off these dead fish, they get stuck in these rocks. Cool animals. These guys are getting big here, feeding off all this easy prey. So I'm gonna take this one right back down to the water. This is a fun night.
He's trying to get the skin off. His little head, former skin hanging off the back of his head there. That's cool. Just hanging out. Whoop! It covered its head again. Woo. Oh, there's a big green. Oh man, look at this snake.
Oh, he's big.
He's holding in. Oh, please don't bite me. They bite so bad.
I will laugh.
It's funny, their mouths are kind of funny. Their heads don't look like a Neurodia, like the typical Neurodia. They're tanky. They kind of got this big, bulky looking head on them. And I'm trying to be gentle with this thing. It already tagged me a little bit once, and I don't want it to bite me again because they got a lot of teeth. And they'll tag you good if you get them upset. This one actually eluded me for a while. I had been able to find plenty of Florida waters and brown waters, but I kept just finding DOR green waters, and it was getting frustrating. For a couple of years, that's all I found until I finally found one. I was so ecstatic when I found my first one. I was shaking. It was probably about this size. Now I've kind of figured these snakes out, found some good habitats for them over the last couple of years, and I'm in a place right now where I seem to find them every time I come here, and they're just magnificent water snakes. Love them.
So my twin brother Chris was kind enough to pull this snake out of the rocks, and this is a lifer for me. This is the first green water snake I've ever seen, and it is a really neat looking snake. The head has a very unique shape compared to a lot of other water snakes that I've seen. Back home in Maryland, we have mostly just the northern water snake, and their head is much wider. This snake's definitely more streamlined. There's not a lot of definition between the head and the body, whereas a lot of other water snakes, you'll get a lot more definition up here between the jaw and the neck area. But I'm gonna go ahead and let this one go. What a really cool night. This is a lot of fun down here in Florida. Gotta love the springtime. Still there?
Still sitting?
Whoa, that thing is cool. What type of siren is this? Greater Siren?
Yeah, that's that size.
Can we move a rock or two?
These are all
They're
big
escape
rocks.
artists.
Yeah, as soon as you move anything, he's gonna take over.
I'm surprised with the flashlight that he's not taking off.
They are really good at finding ways to get out.
That's cool.
Unless you put your net here, over here, and maybe I can spook him this way if he goes that way.
He's headed.
This is a really awesome find. One of our large aquatic salamanders I have in the net right here is this Greater Siren. They're so cool. This one isn't even full grown. It's probably a good, 18 or 20 inches or so. They're just such neat animals. It's really great to find them. Some people struggle to find them. If you know where to look, you can usually have some luck. I just love these things. So cool. We don't have a lot of terrestrial salamanders in Central and South Florida. There are all these aquatic ones, but they get big. They are really awesome.
Well, I'm at the worst part of my springtime trip down here to Florida. The long drive to the airport. Chris was kind enough to take me around to a lot of great habitat. We saw a lot of really cool creatures. I got to see a Greater Siren, which was one really awesome salamander, and a lot of really cool snakes. But, you know, every trip comes to an end, and I'm going back to Maryland where the daytime highs currently are in the 40s. I'm sure going to miss being down here in Florida where the temps are in the 70s. So, in the meantime, I'll try and get out and do some springtime herping in Maryland, but be sure to check us out on the web at www.camachoreproductions.com and check out more of our videos right here on YouTube at Sharing the Outdoors. Until next time, enjoy the great outdoors and happy herping.